Hey, it's Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in North Bend, British Columbia, not North Bend, Washington. The Lord opened up a door to stay here for over the winter, and it beats having to live in that van of mine, and I need to work on my pensions, because right now I'm only getting 5 something on my pensions, and so I need to get the paperwork done and see if I can get that up toward around about $1,200 a month. That's pretty low for trying to survive in this country, but that's what I'll be doing on this winter. And if it is retroactive for 11 months, that might give me a little stash in which to buy a motorhome, because I know that there will be a time that God's going to be calling me to the States for His purposes, and that's to help build places of refuge in the United States. But anyway, what I want to do tonight is come to you with a plan for evacuation and for networking. It's very important that we're able to network together. And in my younger years, I spent some of my younger years in the military. When it comes, I could actually be a very smart military strategist. That's just the way my mind operates. I think that way. I could be probably some kind of commander general or something like that, because that's the way my mind thinks. But anyway, this is the plan. The plan is none other than the Star of David. That's the game plan, okay? So you got 6 triangles. In each triangle, you have 3 people. So the ones that are in the center, they're holding hands, right? So you can be holding hands with your brother and your sister next door. So everyone, if you're in this one here, you're going to be familiar with, in contact with this troop, and also in contact with this troop over here. So everyone is going to be in contact with each other. This is what you want to establish. So you got 6 points, and each point, in each triangle, you got 3 people. And so you want to put this whole platoon together into one package, right? You have to be able to know what's going on. So there's probably enough people in a city where you could actually, no, it's actually a squad. So we start off with a squad. There's 18 people in a squad. And the next upgrade would be to put 3 squads together to make a platoon, right? So that in a platoon, you would have 108 people, I think, 108 people that you can see there. That would be a platoon. Now, you want to go back and use the triangle formula again. So if you do that, you put 3 platoons together, right? And this could be, now you're getting into several cities and all that. You put 3 platoons together, you got 108, 216, and 324. So a platoon, one platoon would be made up of 6 squads. One platoon would equal 108 people. And when you put 3 platoons together, you get 324. You get that triangle, okay, on a larger scale. Now, so now you have a battalion, okay? You got a battalion of 1,944 people, and this could be a large section of land somewhere. It might be several sections of land, so you're going to know exactly how many people that you're going to put onto it. But this here is fairly basic, and the whole purpose of this is to get people to work together. If you're in a city, you're going to have to network with at least 2 other people. That makes up a squad. And as far as expanding, you can expand out to a second and to a third squad. So you would have 3 families working together, and those families would branch out to 3 more families and 3 more families. So you got 9 families working together. You got half a ring formed, right? And so your networking is very important, because there might be a time where you're not going to have a cell phone or any communication. If something happens, that's going to be down. So you're going to be able to have some plan in place when catastrophe hits. You're going to have a game plan in place where you know where to go. You're going to have a rendezvous point. I mean, all these 9 families, they're going to have a rendezvous point where they can meet in a time of emergency. And for this to work, you need a long-term plan. You're going to have people living in place. If you wait until a disaster comes to live in place, to develop your land and all that outside the cities, you're not gonna make it. I'm sorry, you're not gonna survive. So you're gonna have to be living your long term and your short term. You can't just, a whole bunch of people can't just get up and leave the city and get out of the city. Where do you go? You're gonna have to have a plan in place where, and you want to be able to go back and forth and be able to share a network and know exactly where you are going to go. And the people that are living out in the country, you're going to have to prepare for the long term, like learning how to make gasoline. Gas is good for 2 months. What do you do after that when you don't have no gas? Growing food. So the people that are in the cities, they're going to offer their finances, and they're going to offer their labor to get the land built up, right? You can't leave everything for a few families to do. So there's going to have to be a correspondence between those that are in the city and those that are out of the city. And you're going to have to make sure that your long-term out of the city, you're going to have to make sure that it's orchestrated by the Holy Spirit, right? Because if it's a disaster, well, you could be taken over. You could lose everything that you worked up to this point. So, it could be, it might be a permanent camp, but also could be a gathering point. Like when these 4 cities get nuked, when that time comes, all these people that are in the cities will be brought out to a gathering point, and from there, you would have everything in place as far as transportation to move these people into the final locations. So all this would have to be predetermined. You see what I'm saying? And but the big thing is that we cannot do it on our own. We're going to have to be, one family is going to have to network with at least 2 other families, and not just network with them. You learn to, you share. You have, you do a barbecue, you do a cookout or whatever, you get to know the people in your networking family. This is really critical. You have to get to know them. And by pulling your money together, you can buy in bulk, right? So if you got one squad of 3 people, right? You got one sixth of a squad. You have certain buying power. Now if you put 18 families together, and they're networking together, and you're actually getting along, you're cooperating one with another, that's a lot of firepower, you see. You can network together, get to know one another, and from that, you can use that to set up your long-term to establish maybe a larger community, because you're going to have some place to go. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at here, and but I love geometry. It's the, like the Star of David, it's a perfect game plan for setting up a strategy for the places of refuge. And you always work on 3s, because 3s has to do with the threefold cord. And so what you're doing in this squadron, you're putting little threads together, right? You're taking 3 little threads, you're winding it together. You're taking the other 5 threads and you twist it together into a rope. So even a squad of 18 families becomes very strong. Then you take that squad and you put it together into 3 platoons, right? Now you're getting a very heavy duty braided rope. And then you got 324 people working together, which is about the perfect size for a large community. You don't want it much bigger than that. 50 minimal, 100's good. You could survive with 108 people in a community. 216 is better. 324 is probably the optimum, right? This will make a nice little cluster community over here. But you could have 6 of these communities on a section of land, you see. They're all working together. And this is what we're going to have to do. I'm going to leave it at this and get this uploaded. I have internet here, so I don't have to worry about going to McDonald's. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in North Bend, British Columbia, and how to network together for the end time survival.